I know you like music. I know you like music. I know you like music. Hey, hey. Let's create some music together, Heavenly Father. Hey, 'cause you're the perfect melody in my life, in my life. Every day I listen so I can hear your voice, always giving me a brand new song to sing. 'Cause you're my music. I'm your instrument, and you can play me anytime. Anytime you wanna hear a new song. All the music ideas, they all come from you, 'cause you live inside of me. So let me write some new music with you. Let's create some music together, Heavenly Father. Hey, 'cause you're the perfect melody in my life, in my life. Every day I listen so I can hear your voice, always giving me a brand new song to sing. 'Cause you're my music. You're the only melody in my life. I love singing to you in the morning. I'm always in the mood to write a new song. Hey, let's hold it down and focus on every note. Let me be the instrument that you're always playing. 'Cause you're the breath in me and I'm always singing. 'Cause you're my music. You're my music, yeah. You're my music. And I'm your instrument, yeah. You're my music. I'm your instrument, yeah. You're my music. Let's create some music together, Heavenly Father. Hey, 'cause you're the perfect melody in my life, in my life. Every day I listen, so I can hear your voice, yeah. Always giving me a brand new song to sing. 'Cause you're my music. You're my music. Can we create, Father? All the music ideas come from you. You know, I sit back and I replay the music we create. Such a beautiful thing. You're my music. Yeah, you're my music. Father, I'm your instrument, and I'm your instrument. Hey. You're my music. And you're the breath in me. You're my music. That creates the beautiful music. You're my music. Yeah. You're the perfect melody in my life. Oh yeah. Every day I listen. Every day so I listen. Always giving me a brand new song to sing. A brand new song. You're my music. Let's create some music together. Brand new song. You're my music. 'Cause you're the perfect melody in my life. You're my music. In my life. Every day I listen so I can hear your voice. Always giving me a brand new song to sing. 'Cause you're my music.
Sorry for the delay. Shabbat shalom. Right, sorry for the delay. Had to get some things situated. I'm gonna be sitting for a minute. Yeah, we got a title here. There is life outside of Babylon. I believe it says something different on YouTube. I think it's like a question. Is there life outside of America, AKA Babylon? I think that's a better title for it. Yeah, is there life outside of America, AKA Babylon? We're gonna go into a few scriptures concerning this here. And then we're gonna have a question segment where if there's anybody within the chat later on, and I'll repeat this just in case, you know, some more people come in later. By the time we get there, I'll keep repeating it periodically through, you know, the message that we're getting ready to bring forth. I'll keep repeating it and just letting people know that we're going to have a segment where we're going to have brothers and sisters who may be in the chat. You can ask questions. You can, chime in and just say, hey, yeah, I got a question concerning how life is outside of Babylon, or is there life outside of Babylon? All right, that'll be a little further down the line, but I'll continue to repeat it as we go forward. Right, I got one of the brothers with me today. I'm not sure if Ibar's still here, but I know I got the brother Cortez Israel. If you don't mind, shalom, brother.
Shabbat shalom. How you doing? How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm blessed. I thank the Most High for, the breath that's in my body. I can breathe. I got another opportunity. So,
all praise.
Good. All right. Let me ask you, man. You think it's life outside of Babylon?
Yeah.
Is there life outside of Babylon?
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, if you're seeking it, I mean, I think it's life outside of Babylon for people that's trying to tap into, the outside source of of course, like, okay, so I notice a lot of people from other nations like to travel a lot, You talk to, a lot of people, they've been many different countries, but a lot of our people have never left the cage of what we call Babylon or the plantation. So specifically our people that be in the United States, the average people probably that do travel, they probably go to, the Bahamas or Jamaica, Puerto Rico, here and there. But outside of Babylon, as far as leaving, in that sense, I don't know, man. I think it's a big of course, the Most High, prophetically said that a lot of us would begin to head different places outside of Babylon, but I think a majority of us just not gonna be able to leave. But is it life outside of Babylon? Of course it is. You know what I'm saying? Of course. For America is what, only 5% of the world population.
And if you don't mind elaborating now, bro, when you say our people, you're pertaining to who? Or you're making a statement towards who?
When I say our people, I mean like the diaspora, the people that suffer from the slave trade, the East slave trade, the West slave trade, you know what I'm saying? Our people, or if you're an Israelite, the people of the Bible, the Hebrews, our people. But when I say our people specifically in the, America, I'm speaking of the, a lot of the African Americans,
Those who would identify themselves as Negro or Black or African American.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. America is just a small part of the whole earth. America is just a small percentage of what this earth, the landmass of what this earth really is, man. And these people been living a long time. But it seems as though our people, when I say our people, I'm speaking of the same people that the brother Cortez was speaking of. All right. But it seems as if our people who are there, who live in America, only feel as though they could live a comfortable life just there in America. And if we can answer some questions for you today, that's what we set forth to do, right? We set forth to answer some of those questions for you today because we have instructions through the scriptures, and we also have lessons where we've taught in previous Sabbaths that we're going to have to leave America according to scripture. So we're not going to go into the scriptures that show predominantly us having to leave because we already have scriptures up showing that. So you can go back into our previous lessons, one of them being is it time to leave America or something like that? I forget. We got a podcast where we spoke on it, and we also spoke on it in one of our Sabbath presentations. But yes, life has been going on outside of America for a very long time. Okay, and but let's get into some scriptures real quick, just to parallel, right now, I want to parallel America. I want to parallel America with a couple of civilizations from old. Okay, so we can understand what we're reading about when we do read America in the scriptures, because the scriptures doesn't say America. One moment, 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yeah, I would just like to parallel America, the civilization, with some of the civilizations of old. All right. But first, let's deal with this. Let's go to Mark 14 and 32. And we'll read that down to the 40th verse. So this is there life outside of America, A.K.A. Babylon? This is weird. This is weird.
What's that?
I don't know what's going on with this thing. It ain't even got no picture. I had a whole picture on the side right there. I don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's weird. And then it wouldn't play my video. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the Zoom or if it's the PowerPoint that's acting up.
Oh, okay, I see. Did you try to is your side, is it on side screen, or do you expand the oh, never mind, I'm looking at something else.
Yeah, this thing is tripping, man. I don't know. It wouldn't even play my video when I try to put two videos, it didn't play. So I hope it play the rest of these videos we got. But we'll see. Let's just go on.
You say Mark 14 and 32, right?
Yes, sir. Mark 14 and 32.
Okay. And they came to a place which was named Gethsemane. And he saith to his disciples, sit ye here while I shall pray. And he taketh with him Peter and James and John, and began to be sore amazed, and to be very heavy, and saith unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful unto death. Tarry ye here and watch. And he went forward a little.
So like Christ did with the disciples here. He said, tarry you there and watch. Okay. It's similar to what we're dealing with now, right? Christ was resurrected into the heavens, right? And basically we're supposed to be watching. All right. So this is a similitude of what we should be doing right now. And that's why I'm going here, because I want people to understand that there's certain things that's written in scripture that we need to be watching for and preparing ourselves for. And if we're not on watch, if we're not on guard, we can fall into temptation. And we can miss, we can miss out. So this is my purpose for going here to this scripture, if you don't mind.
Okay. Verse 35. And he went forward a little and fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible unto thee. Take away this cup from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what thou wilt. And he cometh and findeth them sleeping, and saith unto Peter, Simon, sleepest thou? Couldst not thou watch 1 hour? Watch ye and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak.
And again, and that's the thing. And that's how we always fall, right? We forget to watch. We forget the battle, right? We forget that we should continue to stay on watch and understand the times that we're in, and understand the places that we live in, and understand the mission. That's what we do. We fall asleep, and then watch some temptation come up on us, And then we don't even see the temptation coming because we were so distracted in our sleep. Right? So yeah, the spirit is willing. Our spirit is willing. We in our mind, hey, listen, we got a zeal. We're like, hey, I want to do this. But our flesh is weak. There's certain things that trigger our flesh. And we fall in these temptations. We at 39.
And again, he went away and prayed and spake the same words. And when he returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy, neither wist they what to answer him. That's 40 right there.
Okay. All right. All right. So can you hear my background?
Can I hear your background?
You all right? You don't hear it.
What you mean? Like, well, is it some barking or something?
I heard a dog
Yeah, you
barking.
hear that dog?
I did for a second.
This dog's scary, don't bark for nothing. Want to bark now.
Honestly, it's not really to the point where it's interrupting. You have to really listen in. I can't hear it like that.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right. All right, well, let's go to Revelation 3:1. I think we can knock this on out the way. It shouldn't be that long. It ain't many scriptures.
Yeah, most high willing. We got Revelation chapter 3 and verse 1. And
Yes,
unto
sir.
the angel of the church in Sardis write, these things saith he that have the seven spirits of the Most High and the seven stars. I know thy works, and that thou hast a name, that thou livest and art dead. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain, that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before the Most High.
And that's where we are. See, we gotta be watchful and strengthen the things that remain. We must strengthen ourselves in the area in which we weak. That's what we got to do. We must strengthen ourselves in the areas in which we're weak. Right? Go ahead. We had 3.
Remember, therefore, how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Thou hast a few names.
So Christ said, listen, if you not keeping watch, I'm coming up on you as a thief. Now, you know, a lot of people sit up there and say, hey, Christ is coming back like a thief in the night. Well, those who keeping watch, he ain't gonna roll up on them like a thief. They're not gonna be caught. They're not gonna be caught. All right, because they're gonna be prepared. Those people will be prepared. They'll be preparing themselves for the bridegroom, for Christ. Okay, 4.
Verse 4. Thou hast a few names, even in Sardis, which have not defiled their garments. And they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that have the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth.
And see, and that's where we are. Now it says, It says, because thou hast kept my word of patience, of the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. See, us keeping the word and actually walking in it and being doers of the word, that makes us awake. That makes us alive. That's what we're awakening in, walking in the word. That's what we're alive at, in the word. It's life in the word. All right. Those who don't walk in the word, those are they who are asleep, who've been distracted, and they won't be kept from the hour of temptation. Those are who will be caught as the thief in the night. All right.
Verse 11.
11. Yeah.
Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches.
And that's how we make it. We make it by walking, actually operating in the word, right? A lot of us, we deal with a spirit of a hypocrite where we act as though we doing something and we really not. We pointing the finger, right? We finished that out. All right, let's go to 2 Peter 2 and 4.
2 Peter, verse 2. Chapter 2, verse 4. All right. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
And it's making them an example. See, that's what I wanted to bring that out. I mean, we're going to finish this, go down to the 9th verse, but I just wanted to elaborate here. It says, and turning the cities into Sodom and Gomorrah, and of Sodom and Gomorrah, into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example. See, the Most High was using these people's wickedness as an example to those who would come after them and would think to operate in the same type of wickedness. And we're going to go into a couple of, this is where I wanted to make my comparisons. We're going to go into a couple of scriptures and make a comparison between America, what we see today, and Noah's time. And also, we're going to make a comparison with America and Sodom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So go ahead.
Verse 7. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, for that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Most High knoweth.
And that's the same thing in America. That's the same thing we're seeing in America, right? When you see these homosexual acts, and then it's like you have to hear these things on television every day, all day. So the Most High said, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversations of the wicked. And we hear these conversations all day in America. All these filthy conversations that these people got all over the TV. They even going up into and having toddler time with drag queens and the children.
Mm-hmm.
The children got to hear these filthy conversations. So it's the same thing. The same thing that was happening a lot is going on with us in America today. Those of us who desire righteousness.
So do you believe that Do you believe Lot understood what actual time it was as far as leaving? Because he was still trying to go back, and they literally had to grab him to get up out of there. Excuse me. But yeah.
I believe Lot. I don't see, and I believe Lot was actually genuine. I think he was genuinely trying to be selfless and like actually help brothers and sisters and warn them and like, hey, we got to get up out of here. That's where I think Lot was at with it. I think he was being selfless. He was like, listen, I got to save them. I got to let them know. He didn't have time to let those people know. And now his wife, on the other hand, she desired that place. She was actually just, I think she just wanted to be there. That's what I believe. What about you? What you think about that?
No, because I was just thinking about what was going on at that time in Sodom and Gomorrah. Was pretty evident that it's time to leave. Just like you look at America today, it's at the sin is at its height. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how it can get any worse. Well, of course, it gets worse by the year, but it seemed like it's at its height, and it's like kind of like the Lot situation. Like, dang, do I stay? Do I leave? I still got people here, stuff like that. But
Right.
Hey, can I expound on something right quick?
You got it.
When Cortez said he don't see how it can get any worse, I just found out yesterday that they trying to lower the age consent to age 10, so the pedophilia people won't go to prison or nothing for it. So that's how it's getting worse. Is they attacking the babies, not the children. They attacking the babies now. But I just found that out yesterday.
My question is to people who live amongst that, like, why do you want to stay there? And I'm genuinely asking that question. It's not a question where I'm trying to, have an intent behind it. I'm genuinely asking that question because as for me and my family, we jumped up and we uprooted and rolled out. And we live in a place now where we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to worry about when we send our children to school if they're gonna be eating some sort of unclean meat, or if we send them to school, they're gonna be having to worry about a homosexual and reading story books, a dress, a man in a dress. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about every TV show that we start to like. We turn on the TV, and next thing you know, that the first few episodes is nice, cool, wholesome episodes. Then the third and fourth one, they got some homosexual stuff they done threw in there. We don't have to deal with that here. So that's a genuine question. And I'm honestly, later on as we go forth in this, we're gonna have a questions time. And I want all of you who may be in the chat, or if you may come in a little later in the chat, I want y'all to be looking forward to that, because the questions part is going to be common questions that people have for life outside of America. So it's a lot of people out there who may be wondering, okay, what is it like outside of America? Well, you got a couple brothers right now, right here, who have experience. We're outside of America as we speak. All right. So whatever we can give you as far as answers, we'll do that. And if I have any brothers and sisters who may be in the chat, who understand, who may be experienced in travel, all right, I would like for you to put some input out there, some things that we may forget. All right, so that's going to be later on. And I'm glad I see LaShonda Claiborne, the sister, said, genuinely, a lot of people feel like they don't have anywhere to go, and some don't feel like it's nowhere better than America. We're going to deal with that. And I have that as a question written down already, is where do we go outside of America, right? So we're going to deal with that as well, all right? Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, verse 9.
Let's go to the book. Oh, yeah, verse
sorry.
9, sorry. Yeah. Oh, you got it, verse 9.
Yeah, okay, the Most High knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
The Most High know how to deliver the godly out of situations. Those who actually operating in the word are the God. The Most High know how to deliver you out of temptation. And he also know how to punish the ungodly. And in this particular case, in America, in Noah's time, it was with a flood. In Sodom, in Lot's time, it was with hellfire or hail stones, fire from the sky. And I know a lot of people don't believe it. That's literal. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Go Google the biggest impact. What is it? The biggest crater impact zone, I believe, in the world. It's going to take you to Vredesfort, South Africa. All right. And then I want you to Google Gibeon, Namibia. Gibeon is a Bible town, biblical town. Gibeon, Namibia, Gibeon, Namibia, which is also a country in South Africa, Namibia. Okay. And in Gibeon, Namibia, and matter of fact, when you Google Gibeon, Namibia, also type in Gibeon, Namibia meteors. And it's going to show you the greatest meteor shower that has ever happened on the face of this earth happened in Gibeon, Namibia. And we can read about that in Joshua, the 10th chapter. All right, for those of you who don't believe that fire fell from the sky or that the Most High sent hailstones down out the sky, those places exist today. But they're not in the locations that we were told that they are in. That's why you don't have any archaeological evidence for them. Okay. So let's go to where we going? Let's see. Let's go to Jasher 4. The book of Jasher, chapter 4, verse 17. As a matter of fact, let's get Joshua 10 right quick, since we're talking about it. And so that we can prove the validity of the book of Jasher. And also, we're going to read that Gibeon scripture for you.
All right. One moment.
Joshua 10, and let's start at Joshua 10 and 10.
Joshua 10, verse 10.
Yes, sir.
Joshua 10 and verse 10. Here we go. And the Most High discomforted them before Israel and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon and chased them along the way.
At Gibeon.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, and
No,
chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth-horon and smote them to A.K.A and unto Makkedah. And it came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down to Beth-horon that the Most High cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto A.K.A. And they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Then spake Joshua to the Most High in the day when the Most High delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Son, stand thou still unto Gibeon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still.
And you see, so I wanted to prove that right there. Now I wasn't even thinking about proving the validity of the book of Jasher when I was just speaking about the Gibeon meteors. All right. I wasn't even thinking about it. But if you Google that, go there, I'm telling you. Google Gibeon meteors, Gibeon, Namibia meteors. Google it, and you'll see the greatest. There ain't no place on earth that experienced a greater meteor shower than Gibeon, Namibia, and it's written of in the Bible. All right, now I wasn't even planning on that, but let's read the 13th verse. This is what I wanted to get.
And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves unto their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun
See
stood
that? So,
still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day.
and that's right. So is not that written in the book of Jasher? So the book of Jasher is referenced in the scriptures. That's all I wanted to go to. I just started talking and Gibeah, Namibia popped up and all of that. But all right, so let's go to the book of Jasher. Let's go to the 4th chapter. That's in the 17th verse. Now this is Noah's time. We're getting ready to read. All right. Noah's time. We're getting ready to read about.
Okay. And every man
Right.
made
So
him
we'll start at we'll we'll start at 17, and at the verse in this particular passage is talking about the fallen angels, the angels that came down, and the havoc that they begin to reap on the face of the earth. All right, so this is the 17th verse. We're gonna start there and read 17 and 18.
Okay. 17. And every man made unto himself a god, and they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor as well as his relative, and they corrupted the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice, as you can see in Genesis, the 6th chapter.
Exactly. And those judges and rulers are giants. Well, fallen angels. The fallen angels, they came down here and became kings. And they had their children to become kings. Their children were the giants. All right, this is where the giants come from angel and human flesh. All right, so this is where they come from. This is their origin. From the giants, the judges and rulers, which are where the fallen angels, which are the judges and rulers, coming down and taking men's wives and making children with them. The offspring of that is the giants. Right. And then watch what they're getting ready to do though. This is something specific that they're getting ready to do.
Okay. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands, according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other, in order therewith to provoke the Most High. And the Most High saw the whole earth that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon earth, all men and all animals.
All men and all animals, not just people, but animals as well. And you're going to find it's not just the animals, it's also the plant life. All right. The whole earth was turned upside down by these fallen angels. Right. So now let's play a video. Now, this is from 1993, 30 years ago. And y'all probably was alive when this came out. I remember watching it. But let's play it. Let's just play it. GMO was in Noah's time. Genetically modified organism. Let's see.
Where do you get 100-million-year-old dinosaur blood? Shh.
What? What? Oh, Mr. DNA, where did you come from?
From your blood. Just one drop of your blood contains billions of strands of DNA, the building blocks of life. A DNA strand, like me, is a blueprint for building a living thing. And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their blueprints behind for us to find. We just had to know where to look. 100 million years ago, there were mosquitoes, just like today. And just like today, they fed on the blood of animals, even dinosaurs. Sometimes, after biting a dinosaur, the mosquito would land on the branch of a tree and get stuck in the sap. After a long time, the tree sap would get hard and become fossilized, just like a dinosaur bone, preserving the mosquito inside. This fossilized tree sap, which we call amber, waited for millions of years with the mosquito inside until Jurassic Park scientists came along. Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito and, bingo, dino DNA. A full DNA strand contains 3 billion genetic codes. If we looked at screens like these once a second for 8 hours a day, it'd take 2 years to look at the entire DNA strand. It's that long. Since it's so old, it's full of holes. Now that's where our geneticists take over. Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the code. And now we can make a baby dinosaur.
Right, now y'all see that? That was back in 1993. So in 1993, 30 years ago, at least 30 years ago, now we know they definitely been doing this before that time, right? DNA, I believe DNA was discovered in like the late 80s, I believe. And I think that's what turned around, didn't that have something to do with the O.J. Simpson case or something where they used the DNA and proved that it wasn't him? Was it that? Or was it the glove? No, it was the glove. That was the glove. The glove don't fit, you must quit. Yeah, that was OJ's case. Glove don't fit, you must quit.
It's interesting because they got us thinking that these dinosaurs or beings were actually created by the creator, and were wiped out millions of years ago. But actually, these weren't of the original creation. That's why the product of the flood happened, to destroy those.
And see, and that's how you know that the spirit of the fallen is in the earth right now, operating like they were in the days of Noah, because they're looking to rebirth these things. They're looking to bring these things back into the earth. All the things that they created. Honestly, to be truthful with you, I don't know. So don't quote me on this as being totally true. But I don't believe mosquitoes. What purpose does a mosquito have except to just bite you and suck blood? You understand? I don't think the Most High created those from the beginning. I think those are they just couldn't be killed by the flood. And that's why when the Most High sent Christ and he returned after Christ, all things is going to be purged with fire. So that way, everything that wasn't supposed to be won't be. So I don't think I don't think mosquitoes were from the beginning either, but that's just me. But yeah, dinosaurs, and they was breaking it down to you back in 93. They was breaking it down how they do it. Right there, boom, we take the blood, the DNA right there, we can boom. Now they talking about bringing back a saber-toothed tiger and a woolly mammoth.
Yeah, but that's how you know Satan, because he's always trying to go against the Most High, what the Most High originally created. Because, before the flood, he had warned Noah and he said, bring 2 of each animal of the original creation into the ark, male and female. Who knows what all the other animals was, you know what I'm saying?
Right. There's probably some animals living now that were from the original. We just don't know. We just used to them and been around. No, that's crazy, man.
You see them creating different versions of dogs. Like all these dogs wasn't originally like that. They products of wolves and all that.
Pit bulls. Hey man, pit bulls wasn't original. They a bunch of different breeds mixed together. Look, check this out. Here go another video. Let's play this. This one actually talking about what we talking about right now.
18 genetically modified organisms you didn't know about. 18. Featherless chicken. Israeli scientists have created this strange animal, a chicken without any feathers.
Can everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Because I see the video ain't playing. There you go. Okay,
No, the
maybe I'm
video
just
is
behind. All right.
playing.
All right. Here we go. Okay, all right. I'm tripping.
The weird-looking animal is supposedly much cheaper to raise, more environmentally friendly, and doesn't require any feather plucking, which, in general, saves resources. This naked chicken can literally go straight from farm to fridge without much work. While this seems like a great idea, there are still some hurdles to cross, such as the fact that, without feathers, chickens cannot protect themselves from harsh weather and parasites. 17. Glittering gold seahorses. Vietnam-based scientists have created a breed of seahorse that is literally worth its weight in gold. Scientists took the fluorescent gene from a jellyfish and inserted it into a tiny grain of gold, which was then injected into the eggs of a seahorse. This glittering gene was absorbed into the cells of the seahorse, and they grew into glittery seahorses that shine in the light. While it seems like a lucrative venture to sell glittery pet fish, the scientists were testing out a technique to replace negative genes with good genes in humans and livestock. 16. Singing mouse. While we usually genetically modify animals and conduct experiments with a direct purpose, the Evolved Mouse Project doesn't really do that. Instead, they add sort of random genes to mice, let them breed, and see what happens. That's how, after mixing mice genes with bird genes, we got singing mice. Baby mice were found inherently to know how to sing from a young age. When other non-genetically modified mice grew up around the singing mice, they actually learned how to make similar sing-song chirpy noises themselves. 15. Glowfish. There is a pet fish whose DNA is patented and trademarked, and that fish is the glowfish. They are genetically modified zebra danio fish that were crossed with the fluorescent proteins of a jellyfish to create fun fish that glow different neon colors. Other glowfish were created by splicing the zebra danio with sea coral and other jellyfish genes. You can own your very own GMO fish in most parts of the United States, except for California. 14. Spare part pigs. It's pretty common now to use the heart valves from pigs to transplant into human hearts. But now, we can develop pigs that we could take the entire organs from for human transplants. These pigs are used for spare parts and have been designed so that their hearts, livers, kidneys, pancreases, and other organs can be taken whole to be put into humans without our body's immune system rejecting it.
Man,
13.
let me die. Let me die. I don't want no animal parts in me. They definitely, I almost cursed. Definitely not no pig.
Hey,
Definitely
don't
not.
think it's don't think it's far-fetched with humans, because now you got parents choosing the eye color of their children before they're born. Like,
Man, it was an article we had put up a while back, showing how they really are doing that, man. It was a news article. It wasn't even an article, it was a some news circuit where they was actually had a news, anchor or whatever, they was doing a reporting on it. So yeah, they doing that. Crazy.
Fast-growing salmon. When it comes to sustainable food sources, we usually look towards domesticated animals and plants that we can farm and breed. Salmon is sometimes farmed, but they take a little while to reach maturity. That is, until AquaBounty genetically modified the Atlantic salmon with Chinook salmon and a bottom-dwelling eelfish to create a salmon that grows twice as fast and twice as big. 12. Male tilapia. Over the last few years, we have genetically modified tilapia to help them mature faster and grow larger with fewer resources. This would be taken a step further with making sure that more male tilapias are born than female ones. Female tilapia breed by holding eggs in their mouth. During this time, they won't eat anything, which means they end up being smaller. Tilapia farmers prefer bigger fish and thus would rather have more male tilapia than female ones in their farms. 11. Sudden death mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are one of the biggest proliferators of malaria, resulting in 1 million deaths and infecting more than 300 million people every year. Scientists began engineering special mosquitoes to combat this by creating mosquitoes that resist the parasite that passes malaria, effectively
Right. I think that's the video was corrupted at that point. But yeah, this was talking about genetically modified things that we don't even know exist today, a lot of us, right? But these things actually exist. And some people may say, man, what part of the gospel is that? Like y'all talking about GMOs and splicing and stuff. What part of the gospel is that? Well, I'm gonna show you. I'll read this, you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to Matthew 24 and verse 37. It says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So this is the gospel, Matthew 24. All right. As the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. We need to know what happened in Noah's days. We need to understand what happened in Noah's days so that we can parallel our times with Noah's and see, like, okay, this is a part of watching. Y'all remember we went in earlier, the scriptures we went into was talking about how we need to be on watch. Well, this is a part of us being on watch, understanding what happened in Noah's time and understanding what's going on now in our time. This means we closer than we understand. We closer to the end than we understand, or to the beginning for the righteous, the end for the wicked. All right, now let's move on to the next slide. All right, now it's affecting your food. Let's see.
This piece of fried chicken was grown in a lab. It is cooked like a regular piece of chicken, except no animals were killed in the process. Instead, it was made from stem cells, taken from a live chicken and cultured in a lab. Could lab-grown meat be the food of the future? Scientists start by collecting cells from the chickens in a biopsy-like procedure. These cells, called progenitor cells, can become any type of cell found in meat, including muscle cells and fat cells. The cells are placed in a nutrient-rich broth for 2 to 3 weeks until they grow into a piece of meat that is ready to be cooked.
Hey, you are what you eat. You are what you eat.
It is a new place to get your meat. Yeah, for the first time, the FDA has approved lab-grown meat for human consumption. So that means it's engineered meat created from animal cells. Upside Foods, a California-based company, has been testing the product, and it will sell the meats once its facilities have been inspected by the Department of Agriculture.
Well, it's very green, right? I mean...
Yeah, I guess so.
When you think about it and the impact on the environment.
Very true.
There's no hormones, probably.
I would try it.
Yeah, I would try it.
He said he would try it. He would try it. Let him try it. I ain't trying it. And that's why I moved up out of there. Because you don't know if they slipping you some of this stuff or not. You don't know what you eat. That's why I had to get out of there. And I wanted my family to get out of there. I had to give my family a chance to live. Let me see. Next slide.
This piece of fried chicken was grown in a...
Now I'm going here, and you see, you got your man right there, everybody's favorite president. All right, we got him right here because he's going to tell you. He's going to slip up with his words. I believe it was the Most High revealing, but he tried to slip up, or he tried to speak, but he slipped up with his words. And I'm going to see if y'all catch it. If you don't, I'll just expose it to you, but let's see if y'all catch it.
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give you one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which is a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major, major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would be.
Okay. Now, if anyone caught what he said, put it in the chat. If you still around and you caught what he said, put it in the chat. I want to see how sharp our people are. Because I'm gonna tell you, they like to speak as though we don't understand what they're saying. They they talk with a double tongue. They talk with a double tongue. I want to see how sharp our people are. If anybody out there, anybody feel like doing it, I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds. If nobody says anything, then I'm gonna expose it. Or I'm gonna ask the brother. I'm gonna ask Cortez, did he catch it? Yeah. Did you catch it, Cortez?
Nah, nah, I didn't catch exactly the part you was. Can you play it again?
Yeah. I'll stop it where he
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give you one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages.
Bam.
And
Yeah, disseminate.
He said we talked about at the G7, we talked about how we can increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortage. So he just sat up there and told everybody that they're looking to increase and disseminate, which means to spread more rapidly food shortage. So this is what he said. Now, why are they taking away the food? Now, and I know y'all remember last year when they was burning up all of those food production plants and killing all of the crops. You had a bunch of cows flipped over on their back, dead. Y'all remember that, right? So he just came out and said it on national TV at NATO. At NATO. This is what he said. This is for the world to hear. They're looking to increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortage. And see, they're looking to do that. They're getting rid of the organic food so they can bring you the GMO. And you got this guy, y'all know this guy, and I'm bringing all of this out because you got to bring to our people's remembrance certain things. We got to bring this back to your remembrance. Understand, it's going to be, you ain't going to be able to find no food. You ain't going to be able to find seed. All right, this is going to happen in Babylon first. We're seeing it go down. They telling you what's going down. That's why the Most High told us to come out of there and make ourselves pilgrims within the earth, that we be not partakers in her sins, and what did it say, that we be not partakers in her plagues, and that we be not partakers in her sins and receive none of her plagues. Us being partakers in her sins, man, we sitting up here eating this stuff and dealing with this stuff, understanding that some of us may have the funds and the means to roll out. We just don't have the faith. Some of us got the funds and the means to get up out of there. We just lack the faith. We got one bank, we got our worldly bank account together, but we don't have our spiritual bank account together. That's the thing. So let's move to the next video, and now let's see who's taking advantage. Let's see who's taking advantage of this spread of a food shortage and the opportunity to bring forth some GMO?
There were lots of questions that came in regarding GMOs. A lot of people want to know how you balance the opportunity to address food scarcity with the concerns that many have around GMOs.
Right, so genetically modified organisms, that's where you create a new seed by using some biological approach that changes the gene. One example is you can put a gene in that prevents the plant from getting disease. And so a disease that's wiping out the crops of poor people and causing tens of thousands to starve, you can get rid of that. The techniques we're using here were actually invented for human medicine. And in the case of human medicine, we don't have a total ban on all drugs that are created this way, nor do we have a total acceptance. What we do is each drug gets created, it's trialed, and then each country has scientists who look at, okay, what are the benefits and what are the risks of that new drug, and they decide. And it's a very sophisticated system that's trying to maximize human welfare. For plants, it's going to be the same. That is, to a priori say, no, we don't want that seed that blocks disease, that's dooming the poorest to never have this kind of tool. And it'd be ironic, since many of these advances are creating things like drought tolerance that poor people only need because rich people have been emitting so much CO2 that the climate conditions are worse for those poor people.
Rich people have been emitting so much CO2. Now, climate change is a part of this as well. They're going to start claiming certain areas in the world that climate change have affected their crops when it was really them going out there with their HARP system, keeping the sun aware, stopping the rain over these places. CO2. And see, that's another part of depopulation. If you believe that it's people out here emitting too much CO2, or that it's cows out here farting too much, and them passing gas is emitting too much CO2, so we need to kill off some of them, you're part of the problem as well.
Making sure that there's that scientific depth so that they can analyze crop by crop, that's something that the foundation is helping to invest in, but each country will have its own decisions. And there are in the pipeline some fantastic crops that need to be looked at. We have decades of experience where rich countries have used GMOs. Some countries like South Africa, Burkina Faso, Egypt are using some GMOs right now. But
now, did you see how he named off 3 African countries straight off the top? Burkina Faso, South Africa, and Egypt. He named off 3 African countries right off the top of his head because that's where his focus is. His focus is on Africa because that's where the greatest concentration of the children of Israel are.
The big wins are ones that come later, and each of those should be looked at as.
Yeah. And he said each country will have its choice, have its decision, right? For the time being, that's true. Let's see.
Yeah.
With regard to food.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. You about to say something?
No, I was gonna say not only is that the great population of God's people, but at the same time, it's the greatest populations of the food resources or the food source that the world depends on. South Africa, East Africa, all that.
Hey man, that's the place where the greatest amount of the resources in the earth comes from. Period. Resources. Period. Not just the food. And yeah, that's where their mind is. They concentrate on Africa. It's always been hard for them to get inside of Africa. All right, now here's some countries that say no to GMO outside of that. Now we know America is full throttle with this thing because you got Bill Gates buying up hundreds of thousands of farmland. hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland, and he's planting all types of GMOs on there. Then he coming out talking about, hey, yeah, we ain't gonna be eating meat in the near future. We're gonna have everybody on a vegan diet. You got Beyond Meat out there and all of these laboratory creations. And you got to ask yourself, why is that? You got to ask yourself, why is that? But the Most High, regardless of why, the Most High gave us instructions to come out of there. All right? So people will say, hey, where can I go where GMOs are not? So let's show you.
Which countries are GMO free? They banned GMO, genetically modified organisms, they banned them. Okay, let me tell you the countries. Belize, Turkey, Germany, France, Italy, Algeria, Poland, Saudi Arabia, Peru, Madagascar, Venezuela, Ecuador, Netherlands, Greece, Hungary, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Croatia, Lithuania, Slovenia, Bhutan, and Malta said no to GMO. If you would like to say no to GMO, whether it started off with the best intentions and higher crop yields and cheaper products, and then it all ended up being a whole mess, got to read your labels. So if a product says organic, that does not mean that some of the ingredients aren't GMO. You've got to look for 100% organic on the label, or there is a third-party verification which says non-GMO project verified. Read your labels if you would like to avoid GMO. It's quite easy to do.
All right, so she just gave you instructions. She gave you land, places you can go. Most of those places that she named were European countries. She named Madagascar. Madagascar is an island off the coast of East Africa, right? So she named Madagascar, but there are places on the continent of Africa if that's where you would desire to go. All right, I'm going to give you one of them right here that she didn't name.
Tanzania has long been skeptical of genetically modified crops. The government has health and safety concerns and aims to protect its smallholder farmers who account for the vast majority of its agricultural producers. But neighboring country Kenya has lifted a ban on GMO food production. Due to Kenya's food security challenges, GMO crops are now seen as a way to unlock food supply.
Hey, can you hear me? Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know. Here go this thing messing up again. 1 second, folks. 1 second. I don't know what's going on with this PowerPoint today. It's acting up. We're going to get it together. One second. One second, I'm gonna have to come back in. This thing, I don't know what's going on with this PowerPoint. I have to go out and come back in.
If y'all can get them likes up, get them likes up. Share the video, Facebook, whatever. Share it. If you tuned in. See how many viewers we got right now. Yeah, like the video, y'all. Like, share. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Again, like, share, subscribe. Let's get this message out there. You know, a lot of people don't know this information. Let's get it out there. Like, share, subscribe. Once again.
All right, let's see if we can get it back up and running. Let's see. See if we can get back to it. I don't know why this thing is acting like this today. Yeah, don't forget to have your questions ready. We'll be getting to that portion very, very soon. If it be the Father's will, if this thing Father allow us to get this up and running. There we go. All right. Let's see if we can play this video out. All right, so Tanzania has opposed GMO. All right. There was a time where that wasn't so though in Tanzania. Now this is what 7 months ago they've opposed it, right?
There were lots of questions that came in.
Tanzania has long been skeptical of genetically modified crops. The government has health and safety concerns and aims to protect its smallholder farmers who account for the vast majority of its agricultural producers. But neighboring country Kenya has lifted a ban on GMO food production. Due to Kenya's food security challenges, GMO crops are now seen as a way to unlock food supply and ease hunger for millions of people in the country.
They compared with what they need. They looked at issues of climate change because you have much less land that can produce what you need. You also have the challenge of you need drought-resistant crops, and you have also biological stresses such as insects, pests, etc. to your crops, growing populations, growing youth populations, childhood malnutrition, and they figured maybe if they add this arm to the agricultural sector, it can improve, and let's see.
Tanzania says it's sticking to organic agriculture instead of genetically modified organisms methods in order to minimize the effects of climate change. But scientists say GMO farming is not inherently environmentally unfriendly. Despite Tanzania's approach, agricultural trade experts say Kenya's decision might affect the whole region.
And our borders are very porous. In a way, we cannot stop maize from Kenya coming to Tanzania. There is no way. As you're speaking right now, there are a lot of maize going to Kenya which are being done informally. And we expect the same way it will be done from Kenya to this. And since their maize will be very cheap, and as you know, farmers, they're always looking for cheaper things. Farmers, all citizens are looking for, to reduce the cost of living. So in any way, maize from Kenya will come to Tanzania.
Biotech experts say, despite the concerns, careful measures are taken before a country allows the use of GMO agriculture.
When people work on GM crops, etc., or GM foods, as we like to, they go through a process of regulation. So it's not a wild, wild west where anyone can just decide to clone whatever they want and plant it. No, you have, even in Tanzania, you have a whole national biosafety framework. And it has a process about how to get permits, and they go through what gene you want to put in, history of that gene, the potential side effects of that gene, and the even criteria that if the gene is known historically to have allergic reactions, it's usually a no-no.
In 2021, Tanzania's government cancelled research trials involving genetically modified organisms. Instead, it put in place tighter scrutiny of improved genetically modified seeds. Authorities here say they are closely monitoring Kenya's decision to allow GMO foods, but they insist that it has no effect on Tanzania. It's not yet clear what extra measures the government will take to prevent GMO crops from entering the country. Daniel Kijo, CGTN, Dar es Salaam.
That's huge because, and see, remember Bill Gates said that it'll be a country's decision. Each country will have their decision on whether they want to deal with the GMOs or not. Well, see, he sat back and said that like it wasn't nothing, because if you can get a neighboring country to accept GMO, then you better understand that those seeds or those crops are going to eventually find themselves into that country next to it. They're going to find their way. You got the wind that blows, you got the water that carries, you got the insects, bees and things of that sort. You got animals like bats and things of that sort that would carry the GMO into other areas. So he understood that. Right, so yeah, you got a country, Tanzania, who said, no, we're not dealing with GMO. All right. You got Kenya that said, okay, we're gonna deal with GMO. Right. So the thing is, but for those people who may have a question, hey, where do we go? We're trying to give you a few answers through, these few videos here. Y'all can hear me, right? You got me? You still there? Tez?
Yeah.
All right, so now let's move on. Let's deal with the Sodom part of it. Let's deal with the Sodom part of it. Now, most people are used to us dealing with Sodom from the point of a homosexual, attacking Sodom from that point. And it's clear that America and Sodom are alike in that aspect. It's clear, okay? But we're going to go into another part of Sodom that people don't understand. And this is why we need books like the book of Jasher, because these books give us in-depth understanding on what was going on in those times, all right? So that way we don't have to just look at the homosexual part of what was happening in Sodom and say, you know what, that's America, but we can compare it on other levels too. Okay, so now we're going to go to the book of Jasher, the 19th chapter and the 24th verse. Let's see some of the things that was happening in Lot's time. All right, see, we showing you at the same time we're urging you to come out of Babylon, we're also showing you that there's places in which you can go outside of it that doesn't participate in these type of behaviors that Babylon or America is are taking in. Okay, so let's go to Jasher 19 and 24. We'll start there.
Okay, at that time, the wife of Lot bare him a daughter, and he called her name Piltif, saying, because the Most High had delivered him and his whole household from the kings of Elam. And Piltif, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sodom took her for a wife. And a poor man came into the city to seek a maintenance, and he remained in the city some days. And all the people of Sodom caused a proclamation of their custom not to give this man a morsel of bread to eat until he dropped dead upon the earth. And they did so.
And that's kind of the spirit. That's kind of the spirit that's in Babylon or America. You know, I done heard people cuss out people asking them for, you know, hey, brother, walk up to you, hey, man, you got some change, or, you know what I'm saying? I done heard people just cuss them out. And get away from me. Woo, woo. You know, I done heard that. Yeah. We at 26.
Mm-hmm. And Paltiv,
Yeah,
the daughter
26.
of Lot.
Let's see if we can get it. You got it.
Okay. Verse 26. And Paltiv, the daughter of Lot, saw this man lying in the street, starved with hunger, and no one would give him anything to keep him alive. And he was just upon the point of death. And her soul was filled with pity on account of the man. And she fed him secretly with bread for many days. And the soul of this man was revived. For when she went forth to fetch water, she would put the bread in the water pitcher. And when she came to the place where the poor man was, she took the bread from the pitcher and gave it to him to eat. So she did many days. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah wondered how this man could bear starvation for so many days. And they said to each other, this can only be that he eats and drinks, for no man can bear starvation for so many days or live as this man has, without even his countenance changing. And 3 men concealed themselves in the place where the poor man was stationed, to know who it was that brought him bread to eat. And Piltah, daughter of Lot, or Paltah, daughter of Lot, went forth that day to fetch water, and she put bread into her pitcher of water. And she went to draw water by the poor man's place. And she took out the bread from the pitcher and gave it to the poor man, and he ate it. And the 3 men saw what Paltah did to the poor man, and they said to her, is it thou? It is thou then who has supported him, and therefore has he not starved, nor changed in appearance, nor died like the rest. And the 3 men went out of the place in which they were concealed, and they seized Paltah and the bread which was in the poor man's hand. And they took Paltah and brought her before their judges. And they said to them, thus did she do, and it is she who supplied the poor man with bread. Therefore did he not die all this time. Now therefore declare to us the punishment due to this woman for having transgressed our law. And the people of Sodom and Gomorrah assembled and kindled a fire in the street of the city. And they took the woman and cast her into the fire, and she was burned to ashes. And in the city of Admah,
so they burned this woman. So they burned this woman with ashes because she was feeding the poor. Now, I know that may sound far-fetched to a lot of brothers and sisters, but this was the way they dealt with depopulation in Sodom. Okay? This was the way they dealt with depopulation in Sodom. Okay, today in America, they deal with depopulation, but they deal with it in other ways, such as the V word. All right? The V word. I think everybody know what that means. The V word, they was passing out a lot of V's and, you know, for the Tony Roni. Okay? This is how they deal with the poor. Depopulation. This was happening in Sodom. All right? See, a lot of people will look at that and say, man, that's far-fetched. I can't see nothing happening like that. Nah, this was a part of their governmental setup for depopulation. That's what it was. All right? So you couldn't feed the poor. All right, it was a crime to feed the poor. And their punishment for crime back then was a lot more stringent than what we see today. All right, now let's jump down to 44. Let's read 44.
Yeah, and if you see nowadays today, I mean, you got all these places that sell food. They have to throw that food away. If you ever worked at a restaurant, they throw that food away at the end of the day because they have laws actually telling you not to give that to the homeless, or you got actual states that tell you not to feed the homeless, or it can be punishable, by misdemeanor or jail time. But yeah, you say,
And we got a video showing somebody going to jail too. And you know what? The thing is, you're right about that, bro, because think about all of these all-you-can-eat places. At the end of the night, man, I don't know if y'all been in there when they close, but I have. And I see all of that food they take up out the buffet. They could just take that food and simply give it to the poor. If it's good enough to feed paying people who's coming in to pay to patronize your place, why is it not good enough to feed the poor? They talking about his laws protecting the poor from somebody putting disease or spreading the pandemic through the food. That's their excuse. But that's no excuse. Yep.
Okay.
So we have 1944.
All right. And the Most High was provoked at this and at all the works of the cities of Sodom, for they had abundance of food and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor and the needy. And in those days, their evil doings and sins became great before the Most High. And the Most High sent for 2 of the angels that had come to Abraham's house to destroy Sodom and its cities. And the angels rose up from the door of Abraham's tent after they had eaten and drunk, and they reached Sodom in the evening. And Lot was then sitting in the gate of Sodom, and when he saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed down to the ground. And he pressed them greatly and brought them into his house, and he gave them victuals, which they ate, and they abode all night in his house. And the angel said to Lot, arise, go forth from this place, thou and all belonging to thee, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of this city, for the Most High will destroy this place. That sounds like the same thing where the Most High say, come out of her, my people, so you don't be partakers of her sins.
I knew you was gonna catch that. I knew you was gonna catch that. Yeah.
Yeah, 49. And the angels laid hold upon the hand of Lot, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hands of his children, and all belonging to him. And they brought him forth and set him without the cities. And they said to Lot, escape for thy life. And he fled, and all belonging to him. Then the Most High rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah, and upon all these cities, brimstone and fire from the Most High out of heaven. And he overthrew these cities, all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the land. And Ado, the wife of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the cities, for her compassion was moved on account of her daughters, who remained in Sodom. For they did not want to go, they did not go with her. And when she looked back, she became a pillar of salt. And it is yet in that place unto this day. And the oxen which stood in that place daily licked up the salt to the extremities of their feet. And in the morning it would spring forth afresh, and they again licked it up unto this day. And Lot and 2 of his daughters that remained with him fled and escaped to the cave of Adullam, and they remained there for some time.
They remained there for some time. Hey, yo, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, sound like you went out a little bit. All right, but yeah, so now we see what happened. Sodom was judged. All right, Sodom was judged. Most High judged Sodom for that act. Now let's see if we can get a parallel here. Let's see if we can parallel.
Well, police are not impressed by one chef's cooking in Fort Lauderdale. 90-year-old Arnold Abbott fed the homeless for more than 20 years. But this week, police ticketed him for breaking a new law. Vicente Arenas is in Fort Lauderdale with a culinary crime. Vicente, good morning.
Good morning, Sharon. It was at this park that the World War II veteran defied police. They were watching his every move, but he kept his focus on feeding the homeless. On the streets of Fort Lauderdale, 90-year-old Arnold Abbott is a folk hero.
Chef Arnold, God bless you.
Chef Arnold, as he's called, is famous here for feeding the homeless, something he and his organization, Love Thy Neighbor, have been doing for more than 20 years. What makes you want to do this?
My beliefs of the brotherhood of man, the fatherhood of God, is as simple as that. I believe I am my brother's keeper, and love thy neighbor as thyself.
But on Wednesday night, not everyone was a fan of the chef's good deeds. After the last plate was served,
Anybody still hungry?
police moved in, led him away, fingerprinted, and cited him for setting up a food line at a tourist hotspot on the beach.
They're trying to make it impossible for people to feed the homeless. It's as simple as that.
This was the second time in a week Abbott's run into trouble. At a city park on Sunday, police shut down his food line altogether. A new ordinance adopted by Fort Lauderdale City Commission now makes it illegal to feed people in certain public places. The changes came after citizens and tourists complained.
Some of the feedings were overwhelming certain areas in the city and were almost providing for the exclusive use of public places and public spaces and public parks for homeless feedings and not allowing others to enjoy those parks.
Mayor Jack Seiler says the homeless can still be fed, but only in designated areas. It's an argument Abbott's not buying.
I will fight them. They're not going to intimidate this old guy. I'm a tough old codger.
So far, Abbott's not been arrested, but he could face jail time, and now he's saying that he will fight the city for the right to feed the homeless, and he plans to do that once again this weekend. Sharon?
Are you kidding me? Is the only thing I can say.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's absolutely awful. Someone who's been providing public service to the homeless for 20 years. He's 90 years old and a World War II vet. Really, you're going to mess with him because he's feeding the homeless? It's insanity. Insanity.
No. Go one more. Make it.
Norma Thornton, seen here, was arrested back in March after Bullhead City Police saw her giving food to homeless people at a public park. The city dropped criminal charges against her, but Thornton is now suing the city, claiming the law itself violates her civil rights.
Okay, well, I'm going to call my higher-ups and figure out how we're going to handle this, okay?
This is police body camera footage from earlier this year, given to us by Norma Thornton's attorneys.
Very, very, very scary. I thought I was going to go to spend some time in jail.
It shows her getting put in a police car after they say she was feeding the homeless at a public park.
Still, I thought it was kind of a joke, someone playing a prank.
Turns out, Thornton was accused of breaking a Bullhead City law. The ordinance makes it illegal to take part in a food sharing event in a public park without a permit. But it's just for prepared foods, not prepackaged items like bags of chips or canned sodas. And it states the event meets this criteria if it's for a charitable purpose. The city says this ordinance is to ensure public health and safety and to prevent trash from piling up because of food sharing events. But Thornton claims that's a mask, punishing people for helping the homeless.
Bullhead City cannot treat people like this. Norma, like everyone.
So those are a couple parallels. Let's move on. Let's go to Jubilees now.
Well, police are not impressed by one chef's cooking
Jubilee
in Fort
16 and
Lauderdale.
5. Let's get that. We got to step on the gas. Jubilee 16 and 5. All right. And because of these things, judgment is coming. Judgment is coming to Babylon. So Jubilee 16 and 5 and 6. Or through 7.
Hold on one moment. Okay. All right. Jubilee 16 and 5. All right. Jubilees 16 and 5. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And when we told her the name of her son, as his name is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets.
All right, so that's the 5th verse in your book. Jump down to 7.
7.
Yeah.
All right. The uncleanness of the sodomites, like the lot we say. Okay.
No, I don't know where you at. At
You said a
that
book of
verse, it's going to
Jubilees,
say,
right?
and in this month, the Most High execute. Yeah, 16 and 5.
Okay. And in this month,
what?
the Most High executed.
Yeah.
The Most High executed his judgments on Sodom and Gomorrah and Zeboim and all the region of the Jordan, and he burned them with fire and brimstone and destroyed them unto this day, even as I have declared unto thee all their works, that they are wicked and sinners exceedingly, and that they defile themselves and commit fornication in their flesh, and work uncleanness on the earth. And in like manner, God will execute judgment on the places where they have done according to the uncleanness of the Sodomites, like unto the judgment of Sodom. But Lot we saved, for the Most High remembered Abraham and sent him out from the midst of the overthrow. And he and his daughter.
The Most High remember Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. Right? He sent angels to Lot and got him out of the midst of the overthrow. But I wanted to go there to show that any society or any civilization that patterns itself after Sodom is going to fall like Sodom. Like the 6th verse said, it said, in like manner, the Most High will execute judgment on the places where they have done according to the uncleanness of the Sodomites, like unto the judgment of Sodom. So what happened to Sodom? It was utterly burned with fire. Just like the scripture says, Babylon the Great will be.
No, that's spiritual fire.
Revelation,
bro.
the 18th chapter tell you that.
Hey, Ben.
All right. Yo.
That precept I brought out yesterday in Jude will go good with that. Okay. Showing that we left before remembrance or whatever. I think that was Jude 1 and 7 or something like that. If you want to get it, that's if you want to get it. It don't matter.
All right, Jude 1 and 7, it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. You see that? So Sodom was an example. Sodom was an example of what's going to happen to the places that pattern themselves after it. Yeah, you ain't lying. I forgot you pulled that out last night. That scripture there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as we was reading, like that'll go perfect with it.
There you go. Hey, and that lets you know because a lot of people like the book of Jubilees. Ooh. Man, listen, the book of Jubilees lining up with scripture. See that? Lining straight up with scripture. All right, so wolf on. All right, now let's all right, now we there. All right. If anybody have any questions, all right. If anybody have any questions concerning life outside of Babylon, now is the time. Right now, we had a sister, she said genuine, LaShonda Claiborne. She said, genuinely, a lot of people feel like they don't have anywhere to go, and some don't feel like it's nowhere better than America. All right. Now, I see that. And there's going to be people who feel that way all the way until the judgment, all the way until Babylon is judged. There's going to be people that feel that way. So let's just deal with those. Okay, let's just deal with those who don't feel that way. Or let's ask questions after. Let me see how we can do this. All right, after, if the sister's still there, LaShonda Claiborne, if you're still there, you let us know how do you, you probably don't feel that way. You just probably generalizing the question. But if you do feel that way, if you do feel as though there's nowhere to go, or there's somewhere better than America, or there's nowhere better than America, after we just went through those videos showing how America is dealing, do you still feel the same way if you did feel that way? And if anybody else have questions, put them in the chat. If not, I got a few questions here that we frequently ask, and we can maybe some of you, they don't jog your memory or something, but
maybe she was speaking. Maybe she was speaking to the mindset of our people, how they think, because we still be thinking in comfort, like, oh, what we gonna do, because technically, I mean, we have the resource to leave. I mean, let's be honest here. Most people have money. They got materials. They got all that. They got the nice car. If everybody was to say, yo, this is all out war on our people, on our children, it's time to get out of here. They have the means to leave. Trust me.
Yeah. And I was thinking that's what she was thinking. That's where her question was aimed.
Yeah.
More so to the mind of the people, and not saying that herself. Yeah. And that's why I was trying to figure out really how to pose the question. But yeah. And she right. It's a lot of people who genuinely feel that there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's people that genuinely feel that way.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like that to some degree, because I mean, at some degree, faith had to kick in. I think the Most High is testing us with faith. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible to please him without the faith. If it was easy task for us to just go bounce somewhere and be good, I don't think that we would give all glory and honor to the Most High in that instant.
That's a good point. That's a good point right there. And I didn't think about it that way. That's a good point. You're probably right. And our people have been, and when I say our people, I'm speaking of my people. All right, those, so-called Negroes, right? Our people have been so conditioned to believe that there's nowhere better than America. It's really a play on the mind. We've been conditioned to depend on those who oppress us. We've not been trained to really be self-sufficient at all. And we haven't even been trained in faith. Even when we go into these faith institutions, there's no faith there. We're not gaining faith according to the word because we're not being taught the word. So, but anyway, since no one is putting any questions here though, people usually say, can I find a job? All right, can I find a job? Now, what would you say to that, Cortez? Can they find a job outside of Babylon?
Can you find a job outside of Babylon? I think it would. Of course, you can find a job. I think being an American, if you talk about from America point of view, being American does have its benefits. Number one, you can have a job. Just knowing English in itself. You have a lot of platforms where people want to pay you just to correct them on pronunciations. You know, you got things like that. But as far as I think it would have to be more specific on as far as location where you're going as far as a job, because some jobs outside of America require certain requirements or education. Some of them don't. You know, I can only specifically really speak on you know, East Africa, Tanzania. If you look coming over here trying to fill out an application, you're probably not going to be good with doing that. You know, most people over here, they don't really have jobs, or you know, only jobs that's really available for a lot of people that's locally here is through the government. So most people really survive off of you know, making meet by you know, selling something. You know, our people are very good when we on our last or on nothing. We're very good about tapping into something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't. Are there any jobs? No, I don't. I don't think that. I think that would depend on the person and depend on the location that they're trying to go to. But we are gonna be dropping some information on how to make means. You know, how to make money, things like that that we know and dealt with experience with, and we can help people with.
Right. Right. Exactly. When it comes to a job, this is what I would say. I would say leave with the entrepreneur's mindset. All right. Try to do some research on your end before crossing over and going into another country. All right. On in your homeland, I would say you concentrate on finding out your niche. Find out your niche before you come over here. What are you good at? What service can you provide? And then look at that country and see what they may be lacking that you can, you know, that you can provide. Because when we came over here, there was some things that I was thinking that I could come over here and do. But see, I hadn't visited where I am. I haven't visited here first. I had just came over here. And when I got here, I realized like, hey man, they got every service you could think of. They don't need me for nothing. You know? And yeah, so that was yeah, that was my experience. But yeah, I would say come over here with the entrepreneurial mindset, more so than looking for a job. All right. Come over here and survey. Survey the I would say come over here and survey and find out what's going on and what service you can provide. Maybe you'll be able to still provide services to people from your native country. Okay, that you may be able to provide something that that country has that your native country don't have, and you'll be able to, you know, deal with it on a trade level. Okay, so let's move forward. It says, I see.
Let me say one more
okay,
thing on that real
she
quick.
was just generalized. Yeah, yeah.
Real quick. It's different if we actually was telling people to get out of Babylon, come out of America, then you would, you know, be looking at that. But I mean, if we talking about biblically, we talking about the Most High God, it's the one telling you to do it. I mean, a job, okay, of course, we do have to think about, you know, how we're going to provide and all things like that. But you have to think, Abraham, he didn't really think about it like that when he was told to leave a lot, you know, oh, what am I going to do over there? Or let's say Egypt, when we was leaving Egypt, all these plagues was going on. So we're not, dang, is it going to be jobs in the wilderness first? You know what I'm saying? They were looking at survival at that point. You get what I'm saying? So that's how we're looking at this right now. Survival. If they're attacking your food source, your water source, you know, the children's curriculum in school is, you know, it's survival at this point. So a job is kind of like last minute. That's like last thing you should be thinking about. You should be thinking about, you know, your health, your life, your children's life. So that's more important. And you should be thinking about, you know, what the Most High told you to do. But that's it.
Man, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. It shouldn't matter. A job, come on now. You know what I mean? It's like we love oppression. Our people, we would just rather stay oppressed. You know what I mean? The Most High trying to free us. He like, hey, get up out of there. I'm about to take down this place for you. And I'm telling you to get up out of there. You think the Most High ain't gonna have something for us when we leave? See, that's the part of that faith that got to be activated in a lot of people. That part is still dormant in a lot of people. And some of them, maybe it just won't click. Yeah. So the sister said she was just generalizing about the mindset. I figured that. She said, but the question
I
is,
figured that.
yeah, she said, but a
And
question
that
is,
answer wasn't directly to her either. It was more so generally speaking to those out there. So that's
Mhm. All right. So she said, a question is, where do we go and where are we welcome and feel like we can add to their society? All right, let me ask you this. Are we really welcome in America? Honestly, really, we're really welcome in America? Now that's just the first part of the question. I just asked that, but all right, where can we go? Let's deal with that. Where can we go? Where you think we can go, Tez?
I'll grab a scripture for that, man. Hold on. Okay. All right. Yeah, I got a scripture for that, man. What's that? Hosea 9:17. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
I read. I got you. I read it for you, man. Hosea 9:17.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're looking for. All right, I got you. This is Hosea 9 and verse 17. Real quick. Hosea chapter 9 and verse 17. My power will cast them away, because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations.
Yeah, so I mean, we're technically we're not gonna be welcome anywhere. We was never welcome in America in the first place. I mean, we've been screaming out oppression for the longest in America. We've been screaming out oppression for the longest in every nation. So we're not gonna be comfortable anywhere. But what's gonna happen is when you do leave, and we're gonna be getting into this a whole lot, not only on this channel, but all the channels. It's gonna build up your faith system. It's gonna build up your faith meter to, where you will be able to, the Most High start showing you different things, that it's a source, it's a system. The source is him. So once you start believing in that and saying, forget this job, forget this and that, and you start you've been getting fed for this whole year. You don't know how it happened, but it happened. That's the Most High. So now you have faith to do the next thing that the Most High wants you to do. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for us to tap into faith when we're constantly dependent on a job or a paycheck, or the truck coming in to deliver the food at our local Walmart. The Most High don't want us to do that. The Most High want us to step out and not be sure what we gonna be at next week, or not be sure if we gonna have food to eat. He wants us to solely believe on him, and that's the Bible.
That's right.
Hey, I got a scripture too. If I can I got a scripture too.
Mm-hmm. Where you at with it?
2nd Ezra 6:55. She say, where can we go? Or whoever
2nd
that
Ezra
was.
6:55. 2nd Ezra 6:55. Hold on one second. I got you. 2nd Ezra 6:55, and it reads, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Yeah, so basically just showing like the world is made for our sake, so we can go anywhere. We just put boundaries on ourselves, being in fear. And like Tez was bringing out, not really having faith in the Most High like we claim we do. We put boundaries on ourselves. It's a whole world out here. All the nations travel, but our people stay in their respective areas. So basically, where can we go? It's a whole world you can go to. Be pilgrims.
Good scripture.
Well, I'm about to go to Isaiah 47:1. And I'm going to read down real quick. Isaiah 47:1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind the mill, uncover thy locks, make bare thy leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen." Now, this is the part I want. It says, "I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." So this is talking about the judgment of Babylon, right? Or so-called America. All right. Christ said, the Most High said right here, "I will not meet thee as a man," meaning when Christ returned, he's coming back as a man. All right. So before Christ's return, Babylon will have been suffered its judgment. So the thing is, the Most High is telling us to come up out of there. So it don't, like the brothers was just saying, it don't matter where we go. We got to get up out of harm's way. Judgment is coming to that place. All right. And the Most High, the earth is his footstool. So it don't matter. It don't matter where we go. Wherever we go, we're going to be covered. All right. Any other questions? Oh, I see well, Miss Alabaster, I don't know if I want to deal with that one right now because that's really not pertaining. What about a wife whose unbelieving husband still wants to stay in Babylon? Anybody want to deal with that? Any one of you brothers?
You said what? What's the question?
It says, what about a wife whose unbelieving husband still wants to stay in Babylon? And I don't want to, I don't want to deal with that because I don't want to. That's almost like I don't want to put a bug in the sister mind when it comes to her husband. I don't want to put myself in that household. So I don't know.
I would tell her to look at the unbelieving, look at the scriptures as far as the unbelieving husband in the scriptures. And what your duty is as a wife in that situation.
And 1 Corinthians. Right. Well, yeah, read 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. That's what I'll say. I'll just say that like the brother was just saying. 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. And make your judgment off the scriptures. I don't want to be the voice in someone's household. Right. Are there any more questions? Any other questions? Here go one thing. It says all right. We can go around the world, but how safe is it for us to travel freely? I know with faith, but it's very dangerous for us. That's the thing that halts progress. America is the evil we know. Well, that's really so much so not, I wouldn't say that that's true, that we're in danger so much like they say we are all around the earth. That's not true. Our people are traveling. We out here. I'm seeing our people go all over the world. And if you actually go on YouTube, you can see these people actually travel. I know a few YouTubers over here who've been over here for years. And actually it's more safe here, where in the country that I live in at this time, than it is in America. Now I'm from Detroit. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, it really ain't safe there. But it's definitely, when you come over here, man, it's peaceful. You're gonna realize how much you was really lied to.
And they'll look at a small example of a situation that the news is trying to broadcast. Oh, a woman got robbed in Nigeria, or a woman got died and got killed in Kenya. But you're talking about a whole country. You're talking about a whole continent. Just think about how many murders happened in Detroit this year. How many murders happened in Baltimore this year? How many murders happened in DC, New Orleans, St. Louis, Brooklyn, New York, Chicago, in this year? So I can literally go outside, and just to tell you specifically, me and my family were just walking the other night outside at night, walking. So it's plenty single women who come here with children, and they're safe. It's normal to see a whole family outside, the children playing at nighttime here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they have a sense of the old way of things, what we used to have. When you see something wrong, you either step in and do something about it, because it's a community-based environment. And a lot of these, not only African countries, but a lot of, even in Europe, like Eastern Europe, a lot of that stuff you can't do over there because they got a community-based society.
Yeah. And see, they put stuff on media in the media on purpose. Like it was a couple of months ago where they put that family, it was a man and a woman, and they went down into South America and they ran into the cartels and all that. They put that stuff on TV, on the news circuits on purpose. They set these things up on purpose, understanding that it's never been this much of our people applying for passports and leaving the country, ever. All right. So now what they doing, if you look at the border at South America, they trying to find replacements for all the people that's been leaving, all the people who's looking to grab their passports and get out of there. They looking for replacement because our people are leaving in such mass numbers. It's never been this many of our people leaving. And we starting to realize, and you know how we are, you know how our people are. Once we find something out and we go over here, we start talking about it. The word get out there. So we telling everybody, we showing videos. We like, man, I ain't know this place was that beautiful. None of that. I know a brother. We got brothers in South Africa. We got brothers on the island of Madagascar. We have brothers all over the continent of Africa. And they can give you the same report that we give you. Sure, a lot of these places have different governmental structures that have different laws, and the freedoms are different in these countries, but you're not being targeted as we are in America. Our people are seriously for a prey in America. Now, are we for a prey all over the earth? Yes, but in America, it's cold red.
Hey, can I say something? When you finish?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. And it's not to down nobody or nothing like that. None of that. This is really just to get people to realize what they be doing to themselves. Like when I was just talking about these boundaries that we put up on ourselves, we showing that the Most High telling us, look, the earth is for you. Travel, get up out of there. You coming out with scriptures showing that the Most High say, look, I'm gonna destroy that place. If y'all don't come up out of there, you're gonna die with that place. But what do our people do? We come with mental boundaries, saying stuff that basically hold we hold ourselves back, like the question or the statement that was just made. It's dangerous for us everywhere with that whoop-de-whoop. That's not the point, because following the Most High, he will protect you. If you doing what he say, the Most High gonna protect you. We've been in America our whole lives. What happened here? We getting killed every single day, hung on trees. They trying to kill our babies. They coming after our children. They out here raping our women. They out here mentally destroying our women. Out here weakening the man, feminizing the man, doing all this stuff to our people. None of that stuff be said. But as soon as you say come up off the plantation, our people be like, dang, what we gonna do? How you gonna work over there? It's dangerous when you travel. It's this, no, just do what the Most High says. Stop putting the hindrance on your own self. Our people, the problem with our people is we are our own demise. And like I say, that's not to disrespect nobody. This is just really to get people to really see what they be doing to themselves. Stop hurting yourself. Get up, get out, and do. We all say we got faith in the Most High. Let's have that faith and operate according to like he said then. And that's all I gotta say.
Hey, Tez, do me a favor, bro. Can you get Psalms 24, 1 and 2 for me?
Psalms 24, 1 and 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Real quick, Psalms 24, 1 and 2. Psalms 24, verse 1 and 2. Okay. The earth is the most high, and the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods.
Yeah. So the earth belonged to the Most High and the fullness thereof. All right. So if the Most High told us to come up out of Babylon in faith, right, without fear, without question, we supposed to do it, understanding that this earth belongs to the Father. All right. And can't if the Most High be with you, can't nobody be against you. Right. So what about and I love the way you put that out there, bro, Ibar, because you know, and I'm saying that because as sometimes it's necessary to speak to our people that way. All right, and I don't want anyone to be offended by the way he brought it. So let me read a scripture so you can understand. It's not an offense so much so as it's passion. That brother speaking with passion because he really wants his brothers and sisters to understand this. Okay, so let me do this real quick. Jude, I'm gonna go to Jude, and I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna start at 21. It says, "Keep yourselves in the love of the Most High, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yashaya unto eternal life. And of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh." So when that brother's speaking, that's the spirit he coming from right there. He's coming from a spirit of passion because he want to pull his people out of the fire. It's not to bringing offense to anyone. All right. He has to, and it's the thing, we have to show our people. We got to cry loud, spare not, and we must show our people their transgressions. All right. Fear is a transgression, especially when the Most High gave us order. He gave us order, and then we look at it and say, you know what? I don't think I'm worthy to do this or do that. You know, Moses did that. Most High gave Moses an order, and Moses turned around and said, you know, hey, I don't speak that well. I'm not this. I don't have that, so I can't do that. And the Most High was like, well, you know what? Go get your brother Aaron. I had him do it. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, listen, if the Most High is with us, can't nothing be against us. That's what we got to see. We got to understand that. All right. One more question I get. Because this, and I want to attack this question because this is something. This question here is something that they put out there in mass media to try to keep us separated. To try to and see what they've done to us. Over in America, we've been taught how to run. We've been taught how to govern. We've been also taught not just how to govern, and I think that spirit was already in us with understanding who we are. All right, but we understand how to govern, and we also understand the enemy, and we also understand war. So they would like to keep us separated from continental Africans. And I'm just speaking on Africa right now. They would like to keep us separated from continental Africans understanding what we understand. And so in their mass media, they'll put things out there like Africans, continental Africans don't like African Americans. And they'll say the same thing to continental Africans here and have them feel like that when they come over into America, when that's not true. Coming over here, I had that in my mind, like these people ain't gonna like us. But when you come over here, I got friends over here who and when I tell you these people to take off their shirt, take the shirt off their back, drop it on the ground so you can walk over a puddle. Those type of friends. You know, people who are really selfless friends over here. And it's not just me, it's a lot of brothers and sisters coming over here finding out that that's a lie. And see, what a lot of people don't understand as well is there's many different races of Africans. There's many different races of Africans. All right, all Africans on the continent are not our people. That's what people don't understand as well. It's not just people that come from the Sea to Ham, like the Ethiopians, the Libyans, or the Egyptians. It's not just those people, but you got Midianites. You got other races of people here as well who are dark skinned. They come from Shem, but they just not Israel. All right. And not to say that those people gonna hate you just because they're a different nationality or anything like that, but that's my experience. I've come over here with the mindset that these people ain't gonna like us because of what I've heard in the media. And then when I get here, it's a totally different thing. What you think about that, Tez? Do they like African Americans?
Man, that's the broadest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's like, I mean, I don't know one country or what, not even country. We talking about a whole continent.
Yeah, it's a whole continent. That's right. That's right. It's the whole continent, and that is a broad question. But at the same time, and with my experience, that's not, of course, going anywhere, some people gonna like you, some not. That's anywhere, even where you from, is that way. And that's the way it is here. From my experience. That's my experience though. All right, moving on. Let's move on. We ain't got much time. Let's get Hebrews 11:6, unless y'all brothers have something to say.
No, you good.
All right, let's go to Hebrews 11:6.
Hold on one moment. Hebrews 11:6. All right. And can y'all mute up for him real quick?
Yeah, that's the odd. Let me get it.
All right, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. And that's an answer. That's an answer to a lot of those questions. If you don't believe the Bible, then hey, I mean, you pretty much by default gonna believe anything that the TV or the government tell you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna stay wherever you are. So that's the number one thing is you have to believe that he is. You got to believe that this word is going to come to pass and that it comes directly from the source in heaven. Okay.
Hold on. Hey, bro. Hey,
yeah.
Let me say something real quick, because all right, I don't want the sister to think that we talking directly to her. Now, understand no. The sister LaShonda Claiborne, because she put something there in the chat. And I don't want her to think we speaking directly to her. All right, now because we're not. This is we gotta this thing might go to a broad audience. It may be other people who may have certain fears and things of that sort. So we gotta lay that out there as well. So I thought when I just don't want you to think that we talking to you specifically or pointing at you or saying nothing like that. No, we're not.
No, it's a difference. Like if she asked the question and we was all in a room together, the answer would be different. But since we on a platform as far as the internet, we is trying to be teachers of the Bible. It's a certain way that we speak. Just like when she spoke and asked the question, she was asking a question for a multitude of people that may not know. You know what I'm saying? So now we answering based on that audience. So it's no problem, sis.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And it say, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Mm-hmm.
By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went.
Hold on, because that's key right there. That's key right there. All right? That's key. It says by faith, understand, by faith, Abraham went when he was called to go out into a place which he should go after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out not knowing whither he went. That's key. Right? We got one more, what do we got? The 10th verse, 2 more verses.
Verse 9 and 10. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Okay.
And that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now, y'all. We're looking for a city. We're a people in search of a city. That city is Jerusalem. We're people in search of a city, y'all. We're people displaced and scattered all throughout the earth. None of the places in which that we sojourn today, where we sojourn among the Gentiles, are our homes. We were sent to those places for a punishment, for breaking the Most High's commandments. Now the Most High is trying to free us, and all he's asking us to do is have faith and come out of there. We need to be of good courage and do so. Let's get Romans 10 and 10. We only got a few more minutes, so we got to get up in this meeting in a few, but let's knock these couple of scriptures out. Romans 10 and 10.
Okay. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. For the scripture saith, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Most High shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?
And that's what we're here to do. We're here today to preach faith to you. We're here to preach faith to you. Faith is what we preach. It's going to take faith for you to come out of Babylon, because you don't know what's on the other side of the tracks. You've never been on the other side, so you don't know what's over there. Just like Abraham didn't know. But by faith, Abraham left and obeyed the Most High. And we must do the same thing. All right, come on.
Verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah said, Lord, who have believed our report? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High.
And we're trying to bring the word of the Most High to our people so that we can build faith in them through the spirit of the Most High, which is the word. Faith cometh by hearing. Hear the word. Let's go to Joshua 1 and 7, and we'll end it there.
Okay. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest.
Now that's the key. See, we want to go somewhere and prosper. We want to go somewhere and prosper with the people, have favor with the people, and all of that, right? So we must keep the law. Joshua just gave us the key right here. Go ahead, the 8th verse.
This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
See that? We'll have good success if we keep the law and keep it in our mouths. So that way, when we speaking to people, they're getting understanding. This is how we get good success in these places in which we'll be sojourning until our Lord comes. Let's go to 9th verse.
Have not I commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Most High thy power is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
The Most High is with us, whithersoever we goest. The world is his footstool. Faith cometh by hearing. This word right here. All praise, honor, and glory be to the Most High. That is the end of our presentation. Thank you all for participating and for your questions. I guess that's it until next Sabbath, if it be the Father's will. We have a meeting that we must attend. So let us get out of here. Bless you all.
Mm-hmm.
Have mercy on Jacob. Have mercy on Jacob. The children of Libya killing the sons of Jacob. The children of Egypt oppressing the sons of Jacob. Yes, Ethiopia oppressing the sons of Jacob. The shepherds of Canaan killing the sons of Jacob. Slaughtering the sheep of Zion. Oh no. No compassion. I have mercy. The people of India killing the sons of Jacob. The children of Japheth killing the sons of Jacob. Sons of Arabia killing the sons of Jacob. Children of Ishmael deceiving the sons of Jacob. Kidnapping the sons of Jacob. They be selling the sons of Jacob. Be spoiling the sons of Jacob. I have mercy, yeah. I have mercy. Have mercy on Jacob. 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 Hey, oh, I see Esau towing the path of Cain. I see Esau slay his brother. Transatlantic slavery, mental slavery, emotional slavery, psychological slavery, political slavery, educational slavery, economical slavery, religious slavery, Amalekite soldiers slaying sons of Jacob. Amalekite soldiers waging war on Zion. Christmas Day. They're eating the flesh of Jacob. See poverty, eating the flesh of Jacob. From A.K.A, eating the flesh of Jacob. Is there no graveyard to bury the sons of Jacob? See the vultures eating the flesh of Jacob. There's no balm in Gilead, no more Gilead. Most High to Gilead, there's no more Gilead.
Comfort ye my people. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she had received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. I, even I, am he that comforts you. Who are you that you should be afraid of a man that shall die, and the Son of Man which shall be made as grass? And forget A.K.A, your maker, the one who stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy. Where is the fury of the oppressor? The captive exile hastens that he may be loosed, and he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. A.K.A is my name, your power that divides the sea whose waves roared. A.K.A of hosts is my name. And I have put my words in your mouth, and I have covered you in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, you are my people. Awake, awake, stand up, O Yerushalayim, which has drunk at the hands of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out. There is none to guide her among all the sons of whom she hath brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hands of all the sons that she has brought up. These two things have come upon thee, and who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of the streets, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Most High, the rebuke of your power. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy power, A.K.A, A.K.A, I am your strength that pleads the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of your hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. You shall no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hands of them that afflict you, which have said to your soul, bow down that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and on the street to them that went over. Behold,